I got this feeling. Inside my bones. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric, baby, when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we're in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good song in my feet. Feel that hot breath in my body when it drops. Oh, I can't take my eyes above it, moving so phenomenally. You gon' like the way you rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting too close. When we're moving, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. You're creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. There ain't nobody leaving, so can't dance. I am also crying, like on. Crying, I know feel like on. Crying, I feel like on. Crying, hurry on. Also crying, like on. Crying, I know feel like on. Crying, I feel like on. Crying, hurry on. All the things I shouldn't do. Dance, dance, dance. There ain't nobody leaving, so keep dancing. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric, baby, when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we're in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, it's on my feet. Feel that hot breath in my body. Oh, I can't take my eyes above it, moving so phenomenally. You gon' like the way we rock it, so don't stop. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. You're creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. There ain't nobody leaving, so keep dancing. Crying, also crying, like on. Crying, I know feel like on. Crying, I feel like on. Crying, hurry on. Crying, like on. Crying, I know feel like on. Crying, I feel like on. Crying, hurry on. All those things I shouldn't do.
Listen, everyone, before the show gets started, I want to first let you know that you can always support the show via Cash App, Zelle, PayPal. All financial contributions are greatly appreciated, and we really do thank you so much. Now sit back and let's enjoy.
What is going on, everybody? Hope all is well. Listen, I want to first thank everybody for coming on. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Tonight's show is going to be really good. Sabrina Mckenzie is on her way. We were just on earlier, and she forgot I had changed the time to it's actually 8 instead of 7. Please excuse my voice. I'll explain it to you later. But hey, everybody. Hope all is well. Please excuse my face. I was dealing with a family situation before I got on live. So since we're talking about domestic violence, and it was kind of almost one of those situations. Let me tell you all something. Domestic violence is real. It is very real. I've been dealing with this and helping people out for years. Do you hear me? My hand still hurts because I was slamming stuff and carrying on and whatever. But let me just say this to you all. You do not have to live. You do not have to live in the household with somebody and someone is not respecting you. Someone is not abiding by the rules of your household and all of those things of that nature. I will not deal with it. I will not tolerate it. My voice is gone because me and a family member got into it before this live. Let me tell you all this. I don't care if it's brother, sister, cousin, auntie, all of that stuff. I don't do well with threats. I don't tolerate shenanigans. And I don't tolerate foolishness. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? When I pay the bills, when you ain't doing shit and all this other stuff like that, this what I'm not going to do. You're not going to disrespect me in my house. Touch your neighbor and say my house. And then threaten to do some shit to me. And because I tell you what's right and what's wrong, you gonna tell somebody you gonna fucking kill me? Oh, okay. Bet you won't do that no more. So anyways, praise God. Excuse my voice. Tonight is going to be a wonderful show. Tonight is going to be a wonderful, wonderful show. Hey, what's going on? Hope all is well with everybody and stuff. We are talking about domestic violence, and I want you all to really take this serious. I have a guest also that's coming on. She's going to tell her story tonight. I have a guest that's coming on, and we're going to talk about this tonight because this is very serious. Domestic violence and abuse can come in a multiplicity of ways. It can come in verbal, physical, mental, spiritual, all this type of stuff. Abuse is abuse. If somebody's living in your house and they don't respect you, that's abuse. If somebody's sitting up here talking crazy to you and not respecting you, that's abuse. Hello, that's abuse. You ain't got to take that stuff. It's abuse. If somebody's threatening your life, that's abuse. You don't have to tolerate it. Understand me when I say this. You do not have to tolerate it. Oh my God, y'all, please excuse me. I'm really trying to make it through this live. This live may not be long tonight. Stephanie said she said she dealt with domestic violence. Oh, I'm sorry, no, she didn't. She said it's Domestic Violence and Breast Cancer Survival Month, and I survived both. Amen. I am waiting for Sabrina to come on, but Queen is here tonight. While we are waiting for Sabrina to come on, I want to introduce, excuse me, I want to introduce you all to I'm going to call her a new friend to the King Jives family. Again, Queen, please excuse my voice. I was just dealing with something for this live. I was cussing and hollering and ready to go and put some hands up. Anyways, y'all. Excuse me. We're going to welcome our guest. Here is Queen. Hey, lady, how you doing?
Hi, I'm welling. I know you're working through some things with your voice, but I am well, and you?
I am good. I'm so happy that you're able to be on here tonight and share with us. We are waiting for Sabrina to get on, but you all, this is okay. How do you say your first name? Because I know I was jacking it up earlier. I'm sorry. Is it Gervais?
You got it. Perfect.
Queen Gervais. Queen Gervais. Baby, she said,
yes.
Baby, she told me, she said, am I gonna be on live? Do I gotta show my face? I was like, girl, yes. You gotta show your face. So she said she had to go get beat for the gods.
Shanice Morgan of Flawless Faces, she came right on through. You know how much time we had before. So I think she did that. She
beat that face up. She beat it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want you to take this opportunity to introduce yourself really quick and to just tell. I don't want to say briefly because you've been through a lot of this, and so I want you to tell your story and just share with the people. And also, guys, she has I'm sorry, please excuse my voice. I'm gonna keep saying that tonight because I know I was gonna cancel tonight because I'm really dealing with some BS right now. But she has a book that's out, and I want you all, my sisters here also, Dr. Sabrina Mckenzie, you all, my love, my sister, she is here. Hey, love. Sabrina, this is Gervais. This is Dr. Sabrina Mckenzie, my sister. She has a book out. It's called The Dirty Man. It's a memoir of healing and deliverance from sex abuse. So
Wow.
while I was waiting for you to come on, I just wanted her briefly to just tell us her story, and we're gonna jump right into it. And then I'm gonna go straight to you, okay?
Yes.
Baby,
Absolutely.
did you get your face beat too?
My what? What?
Baby, she didn't went got her face. She didn't went got her face beat too. This don't make no sense. I'm
No,
on here.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I do my own. I used to model when I was younger, so I don't even go no more. I just do my own.
Y'all done got your face beat. I'm about to beat somebody's ass. This don't make no sense. So Gervais, I'm sorry. Go ahead and just talk to us briefly. Tell us about yourself and also tell us about the book. And we're going to go straight to Sabrina.
All right. Thank you so much for this platform. Hello, Sabrina. Nice to meet you. And
Nice to meet
I am
you.
super excited to share something that I have been working through and have been free from for the last 19 years. I am a sex abuse survivor as well as domestic violence. And for me, the journey started in church. I grew up in an international church, and I call him the Dirty Man, which are the Dirty Man's initials, the DM. So I, instead of calling him by his first name, once I learned my sister was also being raped and molested by him, that's when I finally was able to talk about and actually leave that environment. I go extensively, all the details is in the book about how I found out who I disclosed to. And it's interesting because it was a few years ago. I was at an event, had been removed from the Dirty Man Church for some years, for over almost nearly 2 decades now. And one of the ministers said to me, talking to someone else, and I was just sitting there, and said, "Hey, the Dirty Man," he mentioned him by his name, "he really wants to be a bishop, but we know he ain't living right." I have been removed for 19 years. This man didn't even know me. I was there on business, for my travel business, nothing related to the Dirty Man. And he
All these
said
dirty
this,
men
and it
want to
was
be
just that
bishop.
confirmation that me speaking out and coming forth, my sibling and I, and sharing what happened to us. It started when I was 14 years old. And the Dirty Man asked a simple question. He asked, "How do you sleep at night?" And that question shifted the trajectory of what I knew with church, what I knew about my family dynamic. And my biological parent also fostered the environment, and at times would have my sibling and I to get prepared for the Dirty Man to come and rape and molest us. So it just created this environment that if my home life is not in order, if I have this understanding with what church is and how church, what that looks like, because he's the pastor and my godfather, where's my safe haven? Where do you go? How do you really believe in fasting and praying and all these other elements? How do you really trust God? How do you really build a relationship with that? So for me, it was just something my biological parent used to always talk about, being, if no one will love you more than they would. So if this is what my family member do, if this is what the biological parent do, what does that mean for the rest of the world? What expectations does one have? And so with that, it was a over 5 years. It took 5 years. And once I found out what happened to my sister, I remember the Dirty Man had been driving around in the middle of the night for 2 hours looking for this drug addict to rape me in the back seat of his car. And he got mad because he couldn't find the drug addict. He was going to buy drugs and have the drug addict rape me in the back seat of his car. And I remember thinking, like, "Lord, if you don't free me, I'm set. It's doomed for life." And he couldn't find him. The Dirty Man raped me that night. And he was so disappointed. He was mad. He was like, "Now all I have to do is do this." And so it's like, no, you could choose not to rape and molest me. What are you doing? How about just leave me and my family alone? And he took me home, and shortly after, I disclosed to a friend, which is what most survivors do. They talk to their friend and people that they love. So if they're informed, they can help them to get help sooner. And I call him Mr. Drums in the book. And I disclosed to him and told him for the first, this was the second attempt to say something to someone. And after doing that, he was like, look, we have to find out if this happens to your sibling. We have to find out what's going on. We have to go and talk to see, you can't live like this. You deserve better than this. And that support from that friend helped us go to court. So I talk about the trial process, and the dirty man is still free. He has a church. He is still a pastor. Yes.
Well,
He
he a
is still an
pastor.
You
active
are
member
lying.
in the international church.
No,
Yes.
girl, why
The
are you not
dirty
burning
man
a church pew? Let's go. Let's show up at church protesting.
continued and has not stopped being a
That's
pastor.
crazy.
He never stopped being a pastor. He told his wife that he had been molested and raping my sibling and I. And even when he told his wife called us and attempted to intimidate us and tell us, like, wait, you can't touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. Your husband admitted he's been raping and molesting kids for 5 years. And at the time, my sibling was still a minor. So I said, so that means they was 12 and I was 14. And with that said, your children are around our age. And I said, the Bible also says the least that you do to my little ones. Don't sit here. We can quote scripture all day. I went to Sunday school. How can you use scripture to manipulate children? And she just kept saying, just take the money and leave. Take the money and leave. The dirty man is a millionaire. He has money. That's not even an issue. But we didn't care about the money. We've been around that most of our lives. But the thing was, we just wanted the abuse to stop. Plain and simple. It wasn't from a hate or a spiteful or a mean place. We just wanted the abuse to stop. And the sad reality is, my biological parent went to court and was on the other side with the dirty man. So I go into a lot of details in the book.
Girl, I
And
got no glasses to snatch off my face. I can't do this. Girl, go ahead. What? That's just...
and just the relationship and a lot of the things that took place, a lot of the seeds that were planted while we were at the dirty man church continued to grow, in the dysfunction of a relationship. Like, clearly the dirty man's wife had her own challenges, because there is no way in your sane mind you will pick up the phone to talk to someone you've known since they were 3 years old and get them just take the money and leave. That's not normal. And then afterwards, just learning, um even in high school, just the affection, wanting to have that connection. And my ex-boyfriend, I talk about this in the book as well, he was so abusive. I remember his mother told me, she was like, he was punching me in the face, and she was whacking him over the head with another object to try to get him to stop. He eventually stopped, but she hit him several times. And she told me, she said, look, if a man will not stop hitting you with their mother hitting them, they will kill you. You need to leave. And the reality is, at that time, I was still, to me, the physical abuse was nothing compared to the torment that I was dealing with in my mind, in my spirit, in my home life. So the thing is, I felt like that was more tolerable. That's fine. Sometimes whatever I need to do to accomplish it, but that's not fine. I never deserved that, and it should have never been the case. But has been a fight that God has blessed me to have a healthy marriage and go on to have a son with an amazing man. And my husband he died suddenly, and 7 years ago. So a lot of the issues I had not dealt with, I had went to counseling. So I was able to be intimate, because a lot of times, even when it comes to sex abuse, how can you connect in a healthy way when something has been violated in such a way? So a lot of what was opened up with the doors of promiscuity, just being just opening doors to toys and all the things that come with that, and same-sex intimate relationships. So all these components, the doors that was open, because that's what I was introduced to during the abuse. So how do you then say, you know what, how you gonna tell me porn wrong when this was what I thought was a safe way of still being able to have that connection? So in so many ways, I feel like we don't have those honest conversations. And if we're not getting to the root of it, of people that is being abused sexually as well as domestic violence, and we just keep pacifying it, and let's pray about it, let's do a little shout and go home to hell, that is not the way God ordained want us to live. That is not a peaceful whole life. So I know it's a lot to these to what I have experienced. So do you all have any questions? Any? I know that's a lot, and the expressions on your face says it all. It says it all.
Yeah, I wanted to let the people know, because they were asking where can they buy the book from. So I wanted to also put that in the comments so that the people can, easily know where they can go. So if you guys are looking for the book, it's on Amazon, and the link is right there in the comments. Sabrina, go ahead, because Sabrina's story is her sister was killed by her husband.
Wow.
Not her husband, but the sister's husband
My
killed
sister's
her.
husband. Mhm.
Go ahead.
Wow.
First, I think your name is Jervis. Am I saying it correctly?
Gervais.
Gervais.
Yeah.
I just want to apologize on behalf of clergy around the nation. Too often, people use the clergy role as a sign or as a cover for sexual abuse and for domestic violence and for manipulation.
Yeah.
And so not only are women being abused, but you have a lot of young men that are now homosexual because they were sexually abused by a bishop, by a pastor in the church that their mother trusted. And so on behalf of clergy, I'm the chair of the Legislative Clergy Council, and I'm also the founder of the Task Force Against Domestic Violence. So I just want to say that we are sorry that we did not protect you. And then there's another, you have so many layers to your story. You then also said that your mother was a part of this in preparing you for this man. And so a lot of moms, a lot of men particularly, they prey on single women, and they use them, and they buy these women, these kids gifts, and they have this robe and this collar, and so women trust them. And women, some women are manipulated by their charismaticness, and so obviously your mother had psychological issues, because there's just no way that your mom would have been able to prepare you for a man to take abuse, to take advantage of you. So I'm just sorry for your whole situation. Your situation was very dysfunctional, and I pray that you're continuing to get counseling. Even layer of your husband passing away in the midst of finally finding a safe haven is traumatic. You have traumatic experiences after the next, and so you're saying it as if it's normal, but it's not normal. It's devastating, and it shapes the trajectory of how you view life.
Yeah.
And so I just want to ask you, if you are not still in counseling, make sure that you continue that, because your healing and your wholeness, God is concerned about that. God is really concerned about you. Not the books, not the this, not the that, not how everybody else is going to be helped, but He is concerned about you. And He is speaking to the little girl inside of you that we let down. Okay. So make sure that you continue that. For me, my story is very similar to the point where domestic violence is generational. Domestic violence never starts with just that instance. And a lot of women and men, either you saw your family be abused, your parents be abused, or either you are the abuser because you watched your dad beat your mom and it's become acceptable. So you take the road. You either have two options in those instances. Either you will despise what you saw and go totally opposite against it, or you will become it. And those are the areas that we all fall in. Either you saw the abuse and you can't stand it. If you even smell abuse, you ready to go off and go ham. Or you are now the abuser because of what you watched, because somebody violated you, which I heard you say in the other instance. Somebody violated him, and then he is the abuser. So in both instances, domestic violence and sexual abuse is generational. It's a learned behavior. I would even go as far as saying it's generational curses, because sometimes it's generation after generation after generation. And because we are silent, now y'all both heard this, and I'm going to say this comment and this quote, because if you Black and you live in America, then you've heard this at one point in your life. What happens in this house stays in this house. And so often we've been taught that we've held on to these family secrets, but they are killing us. And so I want to give you permission on tonight to break the silence, okay? Break the silence. If somebody is touching you inappropriately, if somebody is fighting you, beating you, abusing you, that is not love. Till death do us part should not be literal. Okay, that's not literal. It's figuratively. Okay, it's It means our love will last. It does not mean it gives you a license to beat on me. So my sister was my best friend. My sister was the person that taught me everything that I know. She taught me how to fight. She taught me how to love Dr. Pepper, onion, garlic chips, all the foods that I like and love. My sister was 8 years older than me. And we looked like identical twins. Like that was like my mini mom. And oftentimes she was taking care of me when my mom was at work. And so when I was in college, I got a call that my sister was murdered. She was stabbed by her husband over 12 times while she was pregnant and in front of her two older children. So the baby died that was in her stomach. And my two nephews had to watch their mother die, and they've had to live with the memory of the abuse and the memory of watching their mother die and trying to hide and not being able to go save her. And that, I was not there physically with my nephews, but I cannot tell you as a family how domestic violence, and women, if you're listening, domestic violence does not only impact the abuser, domestic violence impacts the entire family. I was devastated. I dropped out of school. I couldn't comprehend. I couldn't fathom, because when you think about domestic violence and things like that, you always think about it with somebody else. And even, let me tell you, domestic violence can become so normalized that when you hear about abuse, you say, that's not me. You don't even realize that your situation is abusive. Huh? A lot of times we're saying, oh, I don't have a black eye, but y'all being emotionally abusive in that house. And let me tell you this, when somebody is emotionally abusive, those scars take longer to heal. Listen, my black eye is going to heal. My bones are going to heal. But those things that you constantly speak into my spirit every day, we are talking to little kids in grown people's bodies, because they're trying to deal with the words of their mama, with the words of their daddy, with the words of their auntie, and with the words of abusive families, the dysfunction in the home. And a lot of times we've normalized it and made dysfunctional function. Oh my God. We've learned how to function in dysfunctional situations. So I want to just give some statistics about domestic violence globally. And then I want to talk about domestic violence specifically in the church and what the church can do to curb domestic violence and what we can do as the body of Christ to be an eye and to be gatekeepers. So when we see domestic violence, we can help put a stop to it. Now, there's so many cases right now that that during the pandemic of pastors' wives that have been murdered recently due to the ugly hands of domestic violence. And every time you usually get the church together to say, well, did y'all know that this man was beating her brains out? The church always says, he was such a good man. How did he? We never saw any signs. We didn't know that he would do that. She never said nothing. So I want the first assignment is for the church to remove the scales off of your eyes. Can we just be real tonight? Can we take the blinders off? Can we just keep it 100? No more. How you doing? Blessed and highly favored. How you doing? Child, no more fakeness. Church. The church is dying. And the people in the church are dying. And so I just want the church to be real. One, here are some of the symptoms so that you know, so that you don't have to say, I didn't see it, I didn't know. When a man isolates their wives, when they are controlling where they go, what they say, how they dress, how much money they spend, those are all signs of abuse. Abuse is not always physical. Abuse can be financial. Abuse can be emotional. Abuse can be psychological. Abuse can be sexual, and also abuse can be physical. But oftentimes people are looking for the physical side. Oh, she didn't have a black eye. Oh, her bones weren't broken. How do you see her bones broken? So one of the signs is separation, because the first thing that a man is going to do is separate you from the general population, separate you also from your family. He will take you away from your family. You know why? Because he knows that he can't control you if your family is present. He can't abuse you. If your auntie's going to pop over at the house, he can't do that. So a man is going to separate you from those that you love and try to keep you far away from them getting to you. Okay, that's one sign of abuse. Another sign of abuse is when women are wearing oversized clothing or they're wearing too much clothing. Now, it's the summertime. Why you got on a coat? And it's oftentimes because they're trying to cover up broken bones, scars, or wounds. So if you see, now I'm a diva. I'm not gonna front. I wear shades in the winter, but anybody else that got on shades in the winter, they being abused. Anybody else that got on shades in the winter, y'all gonna make sure that they okay, all right? That's another sign of abuse. It's oversized clothing, shades when it's not necessary. They're in the house and they're wearing shades. They're in the office and they're wearing shades. Or if you touch them, like if you go abusive people, when you reach out to touch them in just general conversation, or if you reach out to hug them, a lot of times you'll see people do this. And you probably experienced that yourself, Queen. Yes. Like just jumping, or you'll have a post-traumatic stress disorder where you'll just freak out. Something will trigger something in you, and it will create a response. And that response is usually a withdrawal. So when you see people withdraw, and you know that whatever you did didn't cause that type of reaction, that something deeper is going on with that individual. So those are all signs. So when we're talking to people in church, I want us to hear with a different ear. Don't look for the church jargon. I'm blessed, I'm favored. Like, really become intimate with people. Look people in their eyes. Say, how are you for real? And when you see those signs, if somebody is controlling the way somebody spends money, that's financial abuse. Yes. So when you see those different areas of signs, please, please, please pull that person to the side, offer them an air of confidentiality, and get help. I want to say these other things to the church really quick. Can you please stop telling abused women to go pray about it?
Yes.
Like if I'm gonna throw my shoe at, I'm gonna abuse you. If I hear one more person telling a woman that's being abused these two things, pray about it, or your wife is saved and redeemed by the husband. So how is your prayer life? What are you doing to receive this abuse? What are you wearing? How are you treating him? Are you cooking? Are you cleaning? Let me help y'all out. That has nothing to do with abuse. She can be as nasty as a sloppy pig pit. A person that's abusive is going to be abusive whether you clean the whole house or not. Abuse is a symptom that's in the individual. It's nothing that the person can do to deserve abuse. So can you please stop making women responsible for men's abusive behavior?
And another thing that they also say all the time too, because I used to hear this when I was in my second marriage and it was abusive, was this is the will of the Lord concerning you.
I know you lying.
No.
It's the will of the Lord for me to get beat. This man said he gonna chop my body up and throw me in the creek. You telling me that was the will of the Lord? That's not the will of the Lord. That was the will of that psycho. That's why I had to be free. So that's another thing that I heard often with
listen
in the church. This is
women
not the will of the Lord. No.
Oh my God. First of all, pastors, please do not stop using the Bible to cover up transgression and to cover up sin and to cover up abuse. Lady, if you're listening to me, you do not deserve the abuse and you don't have to take it. It's nothing that we can do. We can't pray hard enough for somebody to stop beating you.
No.
Can we just say that? You can't pray long enough. Jesus is asking you to get out. You know when I tell abusive women when they're telling, this is what I'll tell you what one psychologist told me. I was praying to leave my marriage and I was like trying to find a getaway plan. I was trying to save enough money. I was trying to say when I graduate from seminary, I'm going to leave. And this is what she said to me. And this is what I want to say to everybody listening under the sound of our voice. Do you want to leave now or do you want to leave in a body bag?
You want to leave voluntarily or you want to leave in a stretch corner of car? You know,
do you want to leave now or do you want your kids to watch you be carried out?
Let me say this, Sabrina, and that's this as a man. And I want to show this video really quick as I'm trying to put these patches on. As a man, to sit back and watch another man, and don't get me wrong, ladies, I understand that there are some women out here that can fight like dudes, okay? I understand that there are women out here who can throw them hands, but I have seen men take women and pretty much treat them like rag dolls. Do you hear me? And to see them get beat like that, I'm just sitting here like, is that for real? And then to also see that these individuals are supposed to be men and women of God.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here confused because I'm saying to myself, how can you preach restoration? How can you preach restoration to anyone? And you got the crowd going, wow. And you know, well, matter of fact, your wife is not getting with you in the service, and you give them an eye as if you're looking at a child. Like,
I'm having difficulty. The mic is, I can't.
Your mic is breaking up.
Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Your mic is, it's staticky.
Me?
Yeah.
Hold on.
It sounds like something's rubbing against it.
And you know what, doctor? I thank you so much for sharing while we figure out what's going on with that. But I am really in a healthy place. I'm in a real ministry. I've been to counseling. So now I'm in a healthy place. I was just sharing where I came from. And oftentimes, even with sharing that, is to really show, what we have been, this is where I came from. So I understand greater than most. But the advocacy work that I have been doing and the help that I've received and the deliverance that has taken place helped me to realize where a lot of that dysfunction came from with the dirty man, and a lot of the dysfunction and some of the choices that I made was because of what I was exposed to, and being able to get to the root of that foundation and change that. And that
I have
moment,
a question. I
sure.
have a question for you. Why do we continue to preserve his integrity by calling him an anonymous name? Expose him to be in somebody's church. He's not
Well,
worthy. Like, what's his name? Like, let's show up.
well, see, the thing is, the dirty man, no, we went to court, we went through the legal process. But the thing is, when it comes to sex abuse, the reason why I don't really get involved with the specifics of who that person is because 90% of survivors are abused by people they know. 1 in 3 women will be sexually abused within their lifetime. 1 in 5 men within their lifetime. So the reality is, I don't want you looking for the person who had access to me, because that's the key point. Most survivors are abused by people who had access to them to be able to abuse them. So that's the reason why I don't really go into who he is particularly.
So you're saying you don't go into it because you don't want him to come find you?
No, well, that was the point. I was afraid of that. I mean, he threatened us. I talk about that in the book. And half these guys come that we knew were drug dealers that pistol whipped the barber at the establishment that the church owned. So the reality is, I'm not afraid of him. But at that time when leaving, absolutely,
Right, but
I
I'm
was
saying
like,
right now, what church is that? What's his name? Because I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to support him. I don't want any dealings with him.
well, he is a part of the international church. The reason why, again, I don't go into who he is specifically. The thing is, it's public knowledge. If you key in my information, that was the point. He had erased it where you couldn't even look for it. But with that said, I mean, it's a church here in Illinois, and he has moved from one church. He changed the name and put a different word in the middle of it, and he's now still very much functioning and operating. And my old business partner, his niece, over the summer, when they were preparing for the election judge, she was going to go and she was supposed to be in the primary, the election judge. And I told her, I was like, that's the dirty man church. You can't go.
But
You can't
but
go.
do you understand what I'm saying? Even Jives, it's like we always protect them when we don't expose them. It's like it's still another layer of protection for them. Whereas a lot of these pastors are moving to different states and creating the same type of violation because they've never really nationally exposed.
Well, that's what,
So you take it at your pace, but he better be glad that I had not read your book prior to this show, because I'll be putting up pictures, churches, and anybody seeing him stay away. Like it's like one of the things about breaking silence is really telling your truth and not being inhibited and not protecting the abuser. Not protecting. I'm not giving you no malicious name. You don't even deserve a deep dirty man is too good for you. What is your name? Who are you? I mean, he just needs to be exposed.
that's what I'm saying. I did expose him. We did go to
Okay, good.
court. We went through the legal process. So that's what I'm trying to communicate. It
No,
wasn't
I
that
got it. I got it. I
right.
got I
So
got it. I got it. I'm just saying we're on a public platform and we were not in the courtroom. So we don't know that. But if anybody is in Illinois or you hear this story, please Google that, because we don't want somebody else to go through what you went through. And oftentimes a perpetrator is going to have another victim. And he didn't spend time in jail, or he doesn't have a long prison sentence. So they will do it again. They will do it
and
again.
that's the thing. That was the purpose of me coming forth. And the thing is, at the end of the day, I remember one of the pastors that was a part of my life that was like, Gervais, when are you going to get? There's only so much you can do. Like I went through this. You can only do what you can do as a survivor. You do not have the decision making from the judges and the legal rights in the books that's on the law. All these components have to be changed in order to be able to bring that level of justice and what we see or define as justice. So
can I say this, Mario? And I know that you are going to show the video, but I just want to respond to that. You're absolutely right. I deal with domestic violence victims on a regular basis. There is a law called Marcy's Law. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically it gives the victim right in the justice system. So it gives them right to due process of the law. It gives them right to attend the trial. It gives them rights to court proceedings. It gives them right to email and phone notification when that person is let out of jail. So it gives them additional rights. And the reason that Marcy's Law was passed is not only just passed in Georgia, but it's been passed in 38 states. But one of the reasons that it was passed is because of what you're saying. When the victim gets to the courtroom, it's like they're victimized twice, because now the burden of proof is on the victim to tell her story, and she doesn't have a voice because the state is so busy trying to make their point. And usually the state is not always siding with the victim, but the state is the court-appointed attorney for the victim. So you are right, but I will tell you, one of the things that we do as advocates is we expose it with our voices. So you will see me in front of the courthouse making a lot of noise, calling press conferences and having their tea. So when the press flashes their face on the screen, when the community gets behind it, that's how we get the justice system to respond. You're right. The victims don't have a voice, but hiding his name, coming up with fictitious names, and feeling like you're helpless is not going to give you more of a voice. I'll tell you, exposing it, saying his name, telling your truth, and when you do advocate for other people from now on, you do a press conference. You get a bullhorn. You go in front of the court system. And that's how we've been able to help our victims and pass this law called Marcy's Law.
Okay, before I show this, there is no audio to this, so you guys can turn your mics back on. It's some. I don't know if it's Jives or Sabrina. Actually, I think it's Jives because your mic is off and I don't hear no crackling. So I mean, you might have to go back in and refresh. Y'all, it's so. Just thinking about this, what Jives is saying, what Sabrina is saying. It's a lot of these people that are so connected within law enforcement. They are so connected within the legal system. They are so connected within the church. And when she said international or the national, I'm sitting here scratching my head, and somebody said something about their Kojic, and I'm saying to myself, ooh. And it's a few people that came to mind. Y'all, please excuse my voice. It's a few people that came to mind. But this is just like with this video here. I showed this video. This one says November 26, 2018, which I think I probably did it before that. But this man is here with his wife, newborn baby, and 4 other children, all by this lady here. What you are about to witness, a lot of you all have seen this already. I was the first one to do this story. A lot of you all have seen this. If y'all can't take it, please get off. Please don't flag this. We're telling stories, okay? We are telling stories. And I want people to fully understand that this is not a joke. This is about helping somebody else along the way by helping them see that somebody else can be free, that somebody else can come out of it. So anyways, I'm going to show you this. You all can talk while you see this, but just watch. So their children are in the room also. If you look in that mirror in the corner, he picked up, punched her, picked her up, got her by the neck, dragged her out the room, kicked her, punched her, kicked her, punched her, gut punched her, picked her up by the neck, drug out the room. Now, this is just a 1 minute clip. This is just a 1 minute clip. But there is a video clipping that is 48, I believe 43 or 48 minutes long of him beating her. This man, during this whole process, drug her in the kitchen, threw the refrigerator, just pulled it down on her, pulled the refrigerator down on his wife, then kicked her down the stairs in the basement. Now, this first lady goes to church and she has to smile. She goes to church and has to put on face so that he does not look bad. During this whole process, when I was talking about this story, this man came for me. Now, mind you, when I first saw this video, I aired it. And then I gave him the opportunity to say something. Hey, just for shits and giggles, I just want to know what happened. Not that I really care, but I just want you to be able to, in all fairness, say something. He blocked me. And then while I was talking about this on another live, he's watching me as he's doing his own live. So while he's watching me, like right now I'm doing a live, he's watching me and doing a live himself talking about me. Somebody screen recorded it and sent it to me. And he said that I'm out here telling lies and this is not true. But this is you on the video, sir. Then on top of that, let me tell you how narcissistic this man really is. This man said he tried to commit suicide. He attempted to commit suicide because he knew he was going to jail. So he attempted to hang himself. And I'm just like,
crazy.
You didn't succeed? Who was there to get you off the road? So this goes on too long, and see what happened was then you get the sympathy of the church people. But I'm just like, how are people sympathetic to you beating the skunk mess out your wife? How? How are you sympathetic when you just got through putting your hand? Now, mind y'all, I got big hands. I hurt my own self. I hit my own self. I hurt. So I know if I hurt my own self with my big hands, I know for sure that if I put my paws on somebody else, it's gonna hurt too. Why are we sympathizing with the preacher when he just got through dogging his wife out? Now, Gervais, you said that this man was in Chicago. I think your cousin said he was in the suburbs. I'm not asking you to tell who he is or whatever, but the reality is, because somebody said he was a Kojic pastor, the reality is within the church world that they cover up so much. They cover up marital abuse, domestic violence. They cover up rape, molestation, and all these things. And yet still they preach and they minister and they shalabalahala and they travel and people love them. And if they do wrong, like you said, the first thing that they say is the Bible says, touch not mine anointed. Mm-hmm. Okay, but what happens Hold on. What happens when the so-called anointed is touching God's anointed? What do you say? What do you say to these things? Come on, church. Y'all talk back to me. What do you say to these things? And see what's so funny, Sabrina. If I see mute your mic real quick. What's so funny to me is that on this live, there are more women than there are men. There are more women on this live than there are men. There are more women watching this live, and a good majority of them have been through domestic violence themselves. And some of the women will protect the abuser.
Say that.
Because
that's my point.
Because either they are in love with the pastor themselves, or either that's my pastor. And I'm gonna tell you this right here, and y'all may not like this. Let me take a little tea for this one.
Lord have mercy, help us, Jesus.
Fuck your pastor. If your pastor is doing this to his wife, his children, his family, that is not a man of God. That is not a man of integrity. That is not a man who is going and doing things by the Bible. Well, he's human. Let me explain something to you all, because we get sidetracked. Excuse me. We get sidetracked. And people say, oh, they're human, they're human. When you take on this collar, when you take on this cord, when you take on this responsibility, you are responsible and accountable not only to God, but the flock. You took on the responsibility. It's like a marriage, and you have to be able to have integrity, have dignity, have standards, because it's not okay.
It is
not okay for you to sit there and preach and say, oh, I slipped up and failed. Listen, just like with John Gray, this is not okay. It is not okay for you to have mess ups after mess ups after mess ups. I could see if you went smoked a joint. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You probably need to smoke, but you ain't hurt nobody. I could see if you took a drink. You ain't hurt nobody. But when your behavior is affecting your spouse, your children, and you start doing things that you should not be doing, you are to be held accountable. And everybody around you that is aiding and abetting you needs to be lined up and locked up too. Perfect example. Daphne, thank you for being on here, because we was just talking about this. This man in Killeen, Texas, has beat his wife.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say allegedly, poisoned his wife, hid his wife for 3 years. Where is the clergy? I'm not going to be able to talk tomorrow. Where is the clergy? Where are your brothers? Where are your sisters? Did I lose Queen? Where are your brothers and sisters to say, hey, man, hey, so you mean to tell me for 3 years you abused and beat your wife? And for 3 years, there she go. And for 3 years, nobody said anything. Nobody looked for this woman. Nobody said nothing. Every church in Houston, Haley, Dallas ought to be held accountable and looked at sideways. Because if they can look and allow this and still bring you to preach, that's questionable. All of y'all niggas is questionable.
Say that. You're not lying. You're not lying. You know, Jives, one of the things we have to really start looking at, Dr. Cornel West coined this phrase called nihilism. And in nihilism, it talks about the depression, the joblessness, the hopelessness, all of the dynamics that happen in the urban community that affect the Black church and that affect us in terms of our psychology. But one of the things that the Black preacher has adopted, along with the white male preacher, is this patriarchal, the man is the head and he's always right and he can do no wrong. And as a result, there's so many families that are devastated. The Associated Press reported that over 400 Catholic bishops were accused of molesting children. 400 in 2 years, molesting the children in their care. None of them went to prison. 400. This is documented, case after case after case. 400 priests, Catholic priests, admitted to molesting these children. Then in the Black church, because we give the Black preacher a pass, and bishop is not wrong and pastors are not wrong, families are hurting and children are left to try to figure out if it's something wrong with them because they're the one receiving the abuse. If you're listening, mom, if you're listening, churchgoer, if you're being abused or if your child is being abused, I want to talk to you from sister to sister, and I want to beg and beseech you. I know if a man is abusing you, I can't help him. His help is beyond me. His help, he needs Jesus and he needs a psychological evaluation. But I am talking to you. If you do not leave, that man is going to kill you. How many times have we watched? We've seen the case in Texas. We've seen the case in California. Heck, my sister was murdered. How many times are we going to watch our families be murdered by the one that said that he loved and he was going to protect her? If you're listening, I'm begging you, I'm beseeching you, please get help. You can call the 1-800 hotline. Even if you Google it on the internet, it is safe, it is secure. They'll ask you what location you're in. They'll tell you to get off your computer and your cell phone. They will put you in a facility that is not in the same community as your abuser to protect your identity and protect your children. The task force has centers around the nation. I'm begging you, I'm beseeching you, and I'm commissioning you to please, if you can't do it for yourself, if you don't love yourself enough, I'm begging you to do it for your children, because you have no idea how painful it is for your children to bury you. You have no idea how painful it is for your family to be left without you. So if you don't love yourself enough, mother, I'm asking you, sister, I'm begging you, please leave him. I don't want you to pray about it. I don't want you to question yourself about it. It's nothing that you can do. I'm asking you to leave, and I'm asking you to leave tonight. Call that 1-800 number and go get help.
So I am, let me unmute Queen. So okay. Queen, that's your connection.
Jesus.
I dealt with something today, and without getting really too personal, my niece, my mother have taken the opportunity, and I love my niece so dearly, and we have raised her, and we have done everything possible that we could do. This is a little girl, and when I see people that say that they're her parent do things that are just so ignorant, and they are not responsible enough to take care of their kids, this is the reason why I'm sore. Before I got on this live, I had a whole domestic situation right here in my house. One thing I do not play about is children. My mother did whatever she could to make sure that any man she was ever with, and it wasn't many, she made sure that if she was going to be in a relationship with that man, she made sure it was somebody that was going to be around for a while. She didn't bring men in and out of the house. I want to talk to y'all ladies real quick, because seems like some of these men are so stuck on WAP, it's ridiculous. They are so irresponsible that they neglect the fact, that you have a child. And some of y'all got little girls. See, little boys is one thing. I got a little boy, Cam. Some of y'all know who Cam is. But little girls are so precious. You hear me? Little girls are so precious. And what they see,
That's
what
true.
they see through mama and daddy is typically what they will become.
Facts.
Little girls, when they see their fathers bringing multiple women, this is abuse, because you are not responsible enough to take responsibility to realize that when you have children, you do not have a life. I can't get no amens.
Amen.
When you have children, you can't go and party. Okay, let me see. I feel like I need to back up and I want to stand up a bit. See, when my mother had me and she was 16 years old, my grandmother told my mom, she said, as a mother, you're going to raise your child. But as a grandparent, me and your granddaddy, and your auntie, or your brothers and sisters, we're going to help you so that you could go finish college. My mother was valedictorian, Terrell High School, Terrell, Arkansas. I forgot what year it was, class 1984, I believe it was. My mother graduated pregnant with me. Is that correct? No, yes, no. I think so. I might be off by a year. But it was a village that raised me. The village taught me respect. The village taught me what it was to respect a woman, what it was to respect your elders. Now, everybody don't have that. And that's true. Everybody does not have the village. But this is where the church is supposed to step in and take on that. But see, it's a
We don't trust
problem.
the church no more. We don't trust the church.
Oh, yeah.
We don't bring, I'm not bringing my kids to y'all.
That's where
because
I'm gonna
you
go.
might molest them.
That's where I'm gonna go, Sabrina. See, the church nowadays, and even sometime back then, the church has become the slaughterhouse. And I'm not telling everybody the church is bad, because every church is not bad. But when I turn on the news and it's the pastor that did this, the pastor that raped, the pastor that molested, the pastor, I'm like, dang, I can't even go get spiritual healing from my pastor, because my pastor is taking advantage of the little boys and little girls. My mother, it didn't matter who it was. My mom made sure that her children were protected. Even as a single mother, my mom made sure that her kids were protected by any means necessary. Now, she's not responsible for what some of her kids do, because when you get old, the Bible says when you get old, you're going to do what you want to do. But if you put that word on the inside of them, they will forget. But my thing is, and I'm going to wrap this up real quick. My thing is, we don't have this anymore, because whether it's worldly or whether it's churchy, the system of am I my brother's keeper, the system of the village, the system of family as a whole is broken. Because in Turl, Arkansas, some of y'all don't know about Turl, Arkansas, but in Turl, Arkansas, like it's one of them towns where you drive through and 10 minutes later you drive right out. One of them towns. If I walk down the street and I walk up to the corner store, Mr. Chinaman, and if I did something in the store, Mr. Chinaman, that was the corner store, Mr. Chinaman would tell my granddaddy, which on this particular corner, would tell my granddaddy, and they would send word round to 2 streets over to my grandmama them. And by the time I got home, I got my ass whooped. Okay?
3
times. And if it was hot 3 times. And if you was real good, you're gonna get a whooping by Chinaman at the stove. You're gonna get a whooping by your family that was on this street, and then you're gonna get another whooping when you get home. And then they're gonna send you back up to the stove to let them know that you got your ass whooped. And you won't be doing it again. And if you cut up too bad, they're gonna go outside and make you pick your own switch. See, we don't have that no more. Because even in the family dynamic, you got fathers who are raping their daughters, fathers who are raping their sons. And what do you say to these things?
Well, for me, that was what my situation was growing up. But it's my responsibility as the adult to change that dynamic. That is not the same story my son has as his lifestyle. That's not, and the people and restructuring, and there has been a lot of work to connect with amazing people. One of the chapters in the book is what is family. My family dynamic had to change. My idea of what family is expected to be and how they are supposed to interact is different. And when it comes to church, the church that I connected with, that I am still a member of, when even with the loss of my husband, a lot of that old frustrations and insecurities came to the surface because I hadn't dealt with it. And the thing is, I assumed, oh, they don't care about me. My husband's gone. I'm out here on these streets by myself. No, that is not how they felt. The pastor continued to contact me. The members of the ministry I was on continued to keep in contact with me. They would not let me go. And I remember one time, even I had stopped going to church for a while, and the bishop sent word to me. He said, I don't care about what happened. We don't even have to go over the details. All I care about is your soul. How often is that really the case? And the reality is God will send you and connect you to the right people. But when you recognize something's wrong, you have to take action. Period. And
can I say this from a clinical? I want to say this from a clinical standpoint, because I realize that a lot of pastors are doing this. And just so that you'll know from a clinical standpoint, never, ever, ever counsel a husband and wife together that are going through domestic violence. Because what we see from the court, from the justice system, and what we see from the court system is that he is going to kill whatever he says. First of all, she's going to be afraid to speak. She's going to lie. And then what you are jeopardizing is her life. And so when she gets home, she's going to take the brunt of whatever that conversation was. So if you are not a clinical psychologist, counselor, chaplain, please, please, please never, ever, ever counsel them together. If you want to help her, I would admonish all of the clergy to get a resource book. Call the Domestic Violence Center in your community, and they have agencies that are third-party agencies who you can go to. But like you're saying, I just want to piggyback off of that, what you went through, and just let pastors that are going through it understand that that's not a safe haven. And from a domestic violence advocacy point, there are like levels of violence. We can tell you based on the escalation of where they are, how long it's going to take for them to be dead. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? How long we sometimes talk, the attorney general will have those discussions about when is the next time this lady is going to end up dead. So from a clergy perspective, please never counsel them. Please get a resource book that would give them third-party help, and please admonish them to get help. And if you want to provide a resource, give them money so that they can move out of this situation. Just wanted to share that. While Jives is coming back on, there also some statistics that I want to give the church, because I don't know if we realize how deadly domestic violence is deadly. Domestic violence is deadly. Their $8.3 billion is spent each year on covering up bruises from domestic violence. So that means that women are taking off of women into hospitals, spending $8.3 billion because they've been abused. Every 9 seconds, in the United States, a woman is abused. You count to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Someone was just beat. And 3 out of 5 women will experience domestic violence in her lifetime. Listen, this is not a game. I know that we feel like prayer is the answer to everything, but prayer and clinical help is a good response. So please get the help you need. Please don't allow the church antidotes to be the reason that we continue to lose first ladies, and the reason we continue to lose people in the congregation that are being abused and that are dying and leaving their families without a mother. So please get help. Please get help.
And that's
clinical
exactly
help.
what the pastor did when it came to me. Bishop said, no, you need counseling. No, this is not the way your life's to be. So we had that conversation. It was a one-on-one conversation. And his key thing was, I can help you spiritually, but you have to go and seek help with counseling, because there is no way, I'm not equipped for that. And being honest about what your limitations are as a leader. You can't carry them and say, I can do everything. That's not realistic. And that's what he did. He provided resources for me to connect with. And those tools is what I was able to eventually be able to leave from the domestic violence, the second marriage that I had, and be able to provide that safe haven. And so with that, it's important to be connected with the right people to even know like what to do and how to navigate that. And one of the resources that is available with Darkness to Light, they do prevention training. So with that said, first of all, why is a 12-year-old kid alone with a male? Even if you're doing counseling, there should be a door open. There should be where someone should be able to have access and come into that room anytime. There is nothing that you should be talking with a minor at any point by themselves. So Darkness Tonight to Light provide resources and show real life training of what we can do as a community. When the dirty man would have me massage him in front of an office full of a bunch of people sitting around in his office. First of all, why is a 14-year-old girl massaging an adult man in public view? That's not normal. He's a married man. That is inappropriate. So challenging those things that when we see like, no, that doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. Challenging those adults so that it's not based on the child to protect themselves. It is our responsibility to protect children. Even in the cases of domestic violence, the thing that scared me the most is when my ex-husband body slammed me on the bed while my son was in the other room and my parent was in the other room with him. My parent refused to call 911 parent on the line, and she was saying, y'all need to stop all that fighting. My son, for me, that was no, it was not.
She's going out.
Yeah, Queen, your mic going out. Queen. Baby, she is going in. She is going in. Your mic just went out.
Queen, like, let them have, she let everybody have it for all the years she done been through. We can't hear you, Queen.
No. I don't know what happened.
Your phone
Like
is on mute. Okay.
This is the devil.
Yeah, it's the information, the content. And I just want to thank you for sharing such important content. Like, you really are maturing, and I think this is the reason why you're being attacked, is because you're going to a new level in what you're doing in terms of blogging. Everybody's blogging about gossip, who's sleeping with who's doing what, but you're providing community with help, resources, information, education, inspiration, and content. And so thank you for what you're doing. Sorry about the backlash and the warfare, but it comes with the territory. Thank you for helping so many people.
You are so welcome. I do this because this is what I love to do. I'm not doing this because I obviously ain't too many people on here watching, but I love what I do and I love helping people. And a lot of people don't like this type of stuff, but a lot of us, our job is to become helpers one to another. And if we truly believe that the Bible says when God comes back, don't be caught with your work undone. Don't be caught without doing the work. Basically, I just want the Lord, honestly, to just say to me, you ran well and nothing hindered you. This to me is work.
That's good.
Allowing people to share their stories to help other people, that's work. You're not going to get a lot of amens to this type of stuff. They want to hear about, which I am doing a live tomorrow. Hopefully my body feels better. I am doing a live with a pastor, and babe, we spilling all tea. We spilling all tea. But
on which pastor? Which pastor is that? The Sharon Edmond. Sharon Edmond.
No, not that one. Pastor Kimberly Brown, which is so funny because when she was talking yesterday, she was talking about how she was raped by her stepfather, how her daughter was raped at gunpoint, and it was by some bishops and carrying on and stuff. And I didn't know it at the time, but when we talked on the phone, she said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I was like, "No." She said, "My mom is Evangelist Page." I'm like, "Who?" And then she called her brothers and name and everything. She said, "My whole family went to your church." See this, babe, I'm about to be so messy real quick here. See, when you have had ministry and your members are saying, "Pastor, we miss you, we love you." Baby, when folks know what happened back in 1935, they can tell you what. Baby, that's ministry. Well, anyways, that's a side note, whatever. But she just began to just share with me about her. I know that was real messy. She began to tell me about just how all the things that she's been through in ministry and how she's been abused in ministry, and she just can't take it no more. And she blew up and she went off. Wow. And it's just like, at the end of the day, this is the time where people are tired. They're tired of the abuse. They're tired of people neglecting them. They're tired of people not noticing my black eye. Do you see my black eye? Do you see I got bruises? And y'all are telling me not to say nothing publicly, but you're telling me to go hush and pray. I've been praying and I still get beat. I've been praying and I still get stomped. Now the Bible say this. I know the words say this now. The Bible say, "I have you not to be ignorant. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. My people perish because they reject the knowledge." You reject the help because somebody told you in order to be pleasing to God, you can't make the church look bad. Well, the church gonna look bad today because I'm tired of getting black eyes. I'm tired of walking around here like Sabrina said, with big shades on me, can on, and I got on big parking jackets, and it's 600 degrees outside. I'm looking a whole fool because I'm trying to cover up what your pastor just did to me. No, no, no. You got little girls out here that used to be so vibrant and vivacious and happy and jovial, and now they just walk around quiet and they don't say nothing. And you got folks prophesy, oh, God's gonna do this, and they're just saying, I don't even understand why this happened to me. And this is the reason why I do this, is because there are so many of us. There are so many of us that have gone through either physically or spiritually the abuse. And we have to do this because somebody just want to be free. When I did that live about a month or so ago with the victims of Apostle D.L. Dupree, and all them young men came out and they were talking, Joffrey came on just out the color and just sung a song. He said, I am free. Praise the Lord, I'm free. No longer bound.
Yes.
No more chains holding me. My soul is resting. It's just a blessing. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, I'm free.
There comes a point in time when you want to be so free that in all measures, I'm going to get free from the abuse.
Yes.
I'm going to get free if I have to leave church and never turn back again. I want to be free from all of it. Because if me going to this church is going to keep me in bondage, then I'm going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
If me being married to this woman or this man is going to keep me in bondage and I keep getting bound and being put in all of this type of circumstances, I just want to be free. I just want to be free. Now, the Bible said, you got to honor your wife, honor your husband, till death do us part. Now, I understand all of that. But if I'm in a marriage and I don't want to be sinning to God, and I don't, the Bible said, thou shalt not kill, and the law say, thou shalt not kill, then the next best thing for me to do is to divorce. If that man or that woman does not want me to be free, then the next step that I'm going to take is I'm going to take the necessary precaution to go and file the restraining order, get protective orders, and then I'm going to go to the nearest store. And I'm going to go get me a piece. I'm going to make sure I have the right to bear arms. Because if that man roll up on me and my life feels threatened, I'm going to release. Oh, God. I'm going to release. Because I want to make sure that I wake up tomorrow. Because what happens so many times is people say and lie to us, oh, baby, I've changed. Oh, baby, I've changed. This ain't like that no more. I promise I'm a good man. I've changed. And you take them back and they knock the hell out you. And you just like, I thought you changed. And then they go, wham, 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 wham. No.
Can I say something?
Fool me one time. Go ahead.
To the women, a lot of times women are really surprised when the man goes to the level of murder. Like you would think that she would know it first, but I'm going to tell you, a lot of women don't believe he is really going to kill me. I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me good. If he says, I'm going to kill you, he means it, baby. If he says, I'm going to annihilate you, he means it. Baby girl, do not love does not hurt that way. If someone tells you that, you have to hear it. And far too many times they've seen signs. They've been in the hospital before. You got a black eye before you got murdered. This is not the first. The grave is not the first time he beat you. So I just want you to, if you're listening, get out before it's too late and you cannot get out anymore. Now, Jives, you mentioned a protection order. And this is what I want to say from the side of the justice system. In order to receive a protection order, you have to first physically be violated. They don't just, you can't just say, oh, he's threatening me, and they give you a protection order. They have to see it, they have to know it. So you literally have to be violated, and your violation could be death. And now the other thing is a protection order cannot stop you from murder. Do you know
That's
that
right.
when they lock that man up, when they come to get him and they lock him up, and he gets out, and this is one of the things that we're trying to prevent in the justice system. We're trying to prevent letting them out in 24 hours, letting them out in 48 hours, because we're noticing that they are perpetual offenders. He's mad as hell. You put him in jail. Guess what? When he get out, where he going? To beat you up? To murder you? Because he's pissed off. You made him spend time on work. You told, you embarrassed him. Now I'm coming to get you. And so we're trying to make it more difficult on the side of justice to basically add additional charges so that we can protect women. I'm talking to women today because I realize, man, y'all maybe Jives can get through you. But lady, if he says he's gonna murder you, he's gonna do it. It's no cop, it's no protection order, it's no mama. He'll kill you in front of your mama, baby. Do you see that man that killed his wife last week, the pastor? He told her brother in the front of people, I'm gonna kill her. He said, if I don't kill her, I'm a fake pastor. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? How bold do you have to be to tell your brother, I'm gonna kill your sister, and if I don't do it, I'm a fake prophet? Listen, baby girl, it's nothing that you can do about a cycle. The devil does not like your anointing. This is what I want to say. There's so many women that are so powerful. You powerful in the pulpit, and you gotta go home and lock your door. You powerful as an evangelist, and because of it, that man is threatened by your anointing, and he tries to smother your gift, control you, and sit on you. Baby girl, he's jealous of you, and there's nothing that you can do to stop him from hating you, because we're wrestling not against flesh and blood. It's the enemy that you're sleeping with. Wake up. He does not love you. You're sleeping with the devil, and if you don't leave, he's going to kill you. I'm done. Because I know what it's like to go home and pray, God, I'm powerful, and I got to come home and live a lie. You outside, you happy, you strong, you anointed, and you go home and you weak and you feeble and you live in a lie. And I used to pray, God, when can my private life be like my public life? And that's you listening. But you can have that freedom that Jives talked about. You can be free, and who the sun sets free is free indeed. If you leave, let me tell you, I want you to get to the point that you're so sick and tired. You leave cars, you leave houses, you leave marble floors, you leave the church, you leave all that buffoonery, all that foolishness, just to have a taste of peace. Oh my God. Oh my, does anybody know what I'm talking about? You just want to taste the peace. You would rather sleep in one room by yourself on a mattress floor just to have a taste of peace. I will tell you, as God is a witness, everything that you leave, he will give it back. For this is the year that he returns and restores all the years that the cankerworm has eaten. You will not lose anything. If you don't leave, you will lose your life.
Now let me say this also. A lot of women, they don't leave, and you touched on this. They don't leave because they have gotten used to the houses or the cars. They've gotten used to those things. But baby, you can't enjoy a car from the grave.
That's right.
You can't enjoy You can't enjoy a fur. You can't, I think I need to go play this out. You cannot enjoy a fur coat when you dead. You can't enjoy them big hats when you dead. You can't enjoy the red bottoms when you dead. Now hold on, I'm gonna go do something real quick. Sabrina, go ahead talk.
I never seen a casket made by
Talk real quick.
And you know what? You are so right, because the thing is, even as hospital advocate, I was doing domestic violence and sexual assault and going to the hospitals when we received the calls. If we were notified or when we arrived and that person, the abuser, was there, if they told the police or not, we were not allowed to be in that presence, because the reality is you never know how that thing will shift. And it was about the making sure, providing the information to those survivors in that moment and being that support. But the reality is, and sometimes even in that moment, they wouldn't tell us that it was the abuser. That's when discernment would kick in. She's saying that's her cousin. That's him. And even with that, the way and just being there in that moment and believing and building those relationships with people that we know and we trust and we love, and being able to have that plan in place of getting your things in order so that you can leave. And the reality is God can provide a way of escape. And sometimes we have to be ready to receive that escape. And for me, God provided an opportunity where I was able to get my divorce. They waived the fees. I was able to move out and move to another place in another state where my ex-husband does not know. He still attempts to reach out to me, but he doesn't know where I am, where I live, and how I've restarted my life. So the reality is God can provide resources and lead you to those people. And the reality is people that are in the industry with domestic violence, shelter homes are excellent sources. They have hospital advocates. They have court advocates. So you do not have to leave and be by yourself in this process. And I just believe that even those who are listening, that God will lead you and guide you to the people that will help be that way of escape. And being okay with the fact that even if when you initially leave, you may have to, like you said, sleep on that one room and make adjustments. There was a point my son and I was in a hotel, but you know what? We were safe. And the level of peace that passes our understanding, I knew what that scripture meant at that point, because I lived so long in that state of being afraid to go to sleep at night. It was to the point with my ex-husband that I couldn't sleep when he was in the house. I was sleeping in the daytime while he was at work. And even with that, he was like, no, just making accusations. But the reality was my body just was so afraid to even sleep at night, because I didn't know how he was going to respond. And that is the key element, being open to the resources that are available. That's and true. Being okay, because God will restore you.
All right, now I'm going to come back on this camera. I want to show y'all something.
Jives, you drink it? I'm done.
If you're not Kojic right now, that's Kojic all day.
I'm dead right now. I'm done. I was about to ask you if you got some hot tea. Here you go with this foolishness. I'm done. We can't hear you, Jives. You're on mute.
Hold on. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now look.
And we can see you.
It's a bunch of y'all. It's a bunch of y'all sitting up here looking just like this with your hand cocked to the side. You got it covering your eye. Oh, praise God, hallelujah. Baby, you done got your little mink coat. You feel fabulous. Oh, yes, praise God, hallelujah. And you go home getting beat. Let me tell you something.
Lord.
This mink coat don't mean nothing. If I got to come to church looking like this, I can't. Hey, girl, how you doing? Look, if I got to look up like this. Now, I got some Kojic folks on here. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Baby, y'all had a hat cocked down like this. Y'all just be thinking y'all look wonderful. No, you're hiding a black eye. You are hiding a black eye. You are hiding your cheek right here that's swole up. Oh, girl, hey, how you doing? Jeez. Hey, First Lady. Good. Baby, don't feel good when you can't even enjoy the fur. Because you're too busy trying to hide. Why do you got a fur coat on in the church? Because you hiding. You can't even take it off and just dance and shout because you're too busy sitting there with tears rolling down your swollen cheek. Because if I don't look like I'm enjoying the service, he gonna beat me. If I don't act like I'm into what he's saying, he gonna grab me by my arm and squeeze my arm and leave bruises on my arm because I'm not getting with him. What is wrong with y'all? Baby, you left adolescence years ago. Why are you hiding? And you acting like your husband is your daddy. What is going on? But you know what? Let me say this.
Jives, where'd you get that coat from?
Oh, this is my coat. This is my coat. This is my fur coat. I lived up in Minnesota, so you know what I'm saying, I had to have some fur. Oh, yeah, listen. Baby, this all no, but seriously though, it's like, let me talk to y'all men. When you see stuff going on, let me talk to the few men that's on here. When y'all see stuff that's going on, this is when you step in and be like, bruh, put your hands on her again, you're gonna deal with me. If I saw something, it's one thing to be your brother's keeper, but what about your sister's keeper? What about these kids? Y'all can't be so that y'all sitting up here acting like, well, I don't want to say that because I don't want to lose the position. Lose it. Because the integrity is, I saw my sister, my brother's wife. I saw her make a move and I saw her jaw swell. And I know the lie she's about to tell to me is, oh, I failed. Girl, stop lying. You didn't fall. He bust you up. Oh, girl, why I ran into the wall. You ran into the wall. Look here. I got a code word for you. If he hits you again, just text me and say, Tweety bird, Tweety bird. Holla at me. Well, do you see me now? 20/30 vision. One eye down. Something, say something to me. Text me, say something. Because again, if not, we're going to go to a funeral. We're going to go to a funeral. And too many first ladies have died. You know what? When the music industry really started talking about domestic violence and abuse, I remember when Eve did the song Love is Blind because her best friend had got killed because she was so in love with a man. Baby, love is blind. And it can take over your mind. If you think it's love, it's truly not. You better elevate and find. Love is blind. Baby, love don't hurt like that. Do y'all hear me? No. Love does not hurt like that. Love does not, let me tell you for real now, I feel it. I might want to get to preaching now. But love, if I love someone, my love does not say slap the mess out of them, beat them. That's not love. That's not love. If my love says that I need to do something to you, I need to put my hands on you to make you stay in your place. If a man tells you, you're going to respect me, I'm the husband. If you don't, I'm going to beat the crap out you. Girl, I'm going to. That's not love.
It's not love.
That's not love. Felicia said, no, they don't leave marks. Remember, they beat in the head. Right. Listen, I really do. I want y'all to go, and I want you all to, we're coming back again because we're doing this all month. I do want to bring Queen back on. Sabrina, she's coming back again. Y'all, I'm telling you, my body is so tired right now. I want you all to take the opportunity to go and support. Now, this thing says free. Queen, is this correct? This thing says
Yes,
free.
That's it. It's the
yes.
dirty,
In
the
honor
dirty
of
memoir.
domestic
That's it.
violence, in
What'd you say,
honor of
Queen?
Domestic Violence Awareness Month for the first 3 days, so through the 3rd, it is free. The ebook is free. The print versions are just $20. And I also, if it's ordered on my website, I can autograph them and ship them out as well. But the message is important. It talks about the domestic violence, it talks about the sex abuse, and strategies to become free from those environments. So it is something that is very important to me. So it is correct. It is free through October 3rd for the ebook version.
Okay, Sabrina, I wasn't trying to cover your face up. I'm sorry, so. Listen, I want y'all to truly understand everything that we are doing. We are doing this to help people. Each and every last person that's on this platform right now, they have been through something. They have a testimony. I ain't going to church, but they have a testimony to be able to help. And this is the purpose of us coming together, is to be helpers one to another. Now, I ain't trying to be churchy, but I'm just trying to let you know this is us using our gifts. Sabrina is in the government. Queen is writing novels and books and stuff. I am a preacher, and I'm a preacher, I'm a vlogger, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a video person, I'm a model, I'm an actor, all this other stuff. I'm using my platform because, again, I want to be able to help somebody. One day, I don't know when. I'm gonna make some movies. And I'm gonna tell stories. And I want people to see the work that I have done.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand that my labor has not been in vain.
You've been
Huh?
preaching all night.
I want folks to know my
You've been
labor
preaching all night.
not been in vain. I'm like, listen here, I ain't just been out here being messy and bumping my gums. I've been out here trying to help people. And honestly, I am so grateful. I am so grateful. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate you. I gotta go lay down because my voice is about
Yeah.
gone. My body is sore. We're gonna come back on tomorrow. Is the Four Kings. Monday. Okay, no, nothing on Monday. Thank Lord. Tuesday, Sabrina, we're coming back on Tuesday, and we're talking about voting. Let me see if I can find this flyer. Today we did How to Get Away with Murder, which was excellent. Thank y'all so much, everybody who has come and support this meeting. Thank you. Yesterday, last night, we talked about many forms of abuse. Tuesday, make sure you guys set your notifications for Tuesday. We will be back, Sabrina and I, and possibly, tentatively, we will have more guests. We will be talking about voting. I am just so grateful that my sister is so big and she is so famous, and she just decided to just link up with old goofy me. And
That's my all right. Wakanda forever.
I love her so much. And my new sister, Gervais, I love you for real. I just met you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I mean that for real. I mean that for real. I want you and I to do a separate show so that you can talk about, I mean, maybe we can go into depth. But we're going to do this again because, again, we're doing this all month. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Any last words, guys?
I want you to get some rest and drink some tea. Get some rest. And then to the women that are watching, I just want you to remember those last words. You can leave now, or you can leave in a body bag.
I just want to thank you again. I look forward to the continued connection for years to come. And again, I want you can live a life of wholeness and free and be at peace and really be able to go to sleep and rest at night without having that trauma. So get the help, link up with the resources. I'm sure you'll have some links below so that people can use the tools that even Dr. Sabrina has also released even on the live. So get the help. You can have peace and wholeness.
All right. Love you guys. We will talk later. Okay. Everybody have a great evening. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Welcome.
All right.